Welcome to another episode of Talks with the Tax Cop. Now, I know a few weeks ago I told y'all I was going to be consistent, and I was until my eye got taken out. Today's episode, we're going to talk about to see or not to see on so many different levels. Y'all, for those who don't know me, my name is Patrice L. Berry. I'm an enrolled agent. And otherwise, on this platform, I'm known as the tax cop. Y'all, my stuff is rough and ragged. Y'all getting me just raw. All right. I got my Hakuna Matata shirt on. Y'all can't see all that. Just the sun part of the Hakuna Matata shirt. Because as I'm recording this, it is to remind me not to have any worries about anything that's going on. I'm going to give y'all some backdrop. So I came back after the tax season, recorded a video and everything, recorded a podcast. It was late, but I got to record it. And that was my jump start back because I was supposed to start back at the beginning of May. And I know I'm going to stop trying to shake this table. So I'm going to hold on to my new spinning chair. And then that week, like the following week, something happened to my eye. I woke up. No, I actually recorded and said, oh, my eyes are red, which is normal because my eyes don't, I have these humongous eyes, y'all, and my eyes don't always shut. I have dry eye, always have these huge eyes. They don't always shut. And when I'm sleeping, I know y'all like, is she a medical professional? Like, what's going on here? So sometimes if it's dry or, you know, the temperature is changing and stuff like that, my eyes will be red in the morning just because it takes me 3 times to fully blink for it to lubricate my entire eye. Have these crazy ginormous eyes. I know it all from when I was trying to get LASIK and everything like that. Needless to say, that progressed into, by the end of that week, it progressed into something major painful. I don't know if y'all have ever had like pressure, like excruciating pressure, like when you're stopped up and you got to go side to side to kind of alleviate the pressure in the middle of the night. Well, it felt like that. I felt like I had tons of pressure on my optical nerve, and it got to a point where I really couldn't even open my eye. It was that sensitive to light, which means that, of course, I wasn't sitting in front of a computer, let alone recording anything where there was a light, a camera, or anything. Like I tried it. It was hurting. It was in the biggest pain ever. And I'm gonna tell you, at that time, I thought, man, I have been spending a lot of hours going through tax returns, looking at detailed information. I have multiple screens up, not taking breaks. And so I started like going off of myself, like, my gosh, you know, and I still got work to do. My team has been doing a great job of getting me stuff. Now stuff is on my desk. I'm the stovepipe, got it on grid, and we getting it through, and I can't see. What am I going to do, right? And it was like, okay, can I? And just as, you know, like if you've done an injury in the gym and you like, I'm starting to feel better, let me push it. Well, I did. I pushed it last week. And I did a long day because I thought I was feeling better. My eye was bloodshot red. For anybody who's seeing it now, and some of my clients, I did record some videos for them last week. But I had to do small stints. Like I would do it, go do compresses. I had my eye patch not here. I got pictures that I can show y'all. My husband made me an eye patch with a cotton round when he had to take me for us to get diagnosis. They gave me an eye patch. My youngest son had dental surgery last week. I was in the hospital with the eye patch on most of the day. I was like, it was just jacking my vision up. Y'all, I've been wearing glasses since I was in the 3rd grade, right? I got LASIK when I was in my early 20s because the optical doctor was like, yo, the way you're gonna keep going, your glass is so thick, like, and you so young, this is only gonna get worse. You probably wanna do LASIK. So I got LASIK like really in the early 2000s, okay? And I was told my vision would change the older I got just because of age and things, your eyes might shape. But I've never Never, never. Like I'm talking about, we've had eye surgery. I've had, I know what it feels like after LASIK. It feels like they throw dirt in your eye, but I've never felt anything like I felt when that light sensitivity and just all the pressure, and I could not see. It took me out. It took me out for a good, I'm gonna tell you, it took me out for a good 10 days. Right. So I'm just now, like this last back part of the Memorial Day, I'm actually able to just actually kind of function. And I had good days and bad days. Friday, I went and got a better diagnostic from an ophthalmologist. I'm going somewhere with all of this, right? So I went to patient first, and they told me, hey, you need to go to, and I had called to get to an ophthalmologist. Every ophthalmologist is not created the same, because some of them focus on retina, some of them focus on cornea. I had got a diagnostic that at patient first that I had, it appeared that I had 3 scratches on my cornea at 6 o'clock. Y'all, I went into that ophthalmologist office before he could really get into it. And he said, looks like you got a cornea ulcer. So I'm like, okay, so I'm sitting up here, cornea scratch, I got an ulcer, like what's going on? Am I gonna lose my eyesight? What's happening? He said, all right, I'm gonna numb your eye, I'm gonna do the iodine, and I'm gonna flip your eyelid. That is a uncomfortable position, especially when you got light, because they gotta use light to see what's going on. And he looked and he said, why had you waited so long to get in here? But I had to schedule an appointment. So it had to work based off of everybody's scheduling, not just mine, but available appointment. And that was the earliest available appointment, was last Friday, the 27th. And he broke it down and told me, of course I got to come back. So I'm coming back this week to check, to make sure, because he gave me a stronger prescription. Y'all, I'm going somewhere. He gave me a stronger prescription with the eye drops, because I used one for a week. Okay. Patient first had given me one, and I'm used to antibiotic eye drops. I've been dealing with these eyes for 45 years. But he said, I got something a little bit stronger to see if this is going to clear up. You look to have a virus of some sort. You could have shingles. It doesn't look like a shingles pattern, or herpes, or because all of those are in the same family, right? That I'm learning. He said, you don't look like you have it, but I can't tell what's going on. But I need something to clear it up. So we need an antibiotic to clear it up. I need you to come back so that we can figure out really what happened. My main goal is to save your eye. Because I was like, well, do I need eyeglasses? Because I'm gonna tell y'all, 2 weeks ago, I could see stuff pretty sharply. I've always been nearsighted. I could see stuff far away sharply. I can't see hardly anything. My vision, y'all, they said it's 20/60. He said legally, you probably should not be even driving a vehicle. But we got to figure out what's going on. It was not that bad. It was not that bad. Like I teach fitness. Let's pass Saturday when we were doing our class, I could hardly see myself. And I'm used to seeing myself on the screen when we pen it, and them in Zoom. Like I could see everybody, and I could watch everybody form a technique. I had to go off of, look, I'm cueing, this is this, let me tell you the truth, I can't see you. This is not working. Okay, so my vision has adjusted by this. And I'm praying that my vision comes back to being better than it was. It'll never be 20/20, because I've never had 20/20 vision. I told you I've been wearing glasses since I was in 3rd grade. But he broke it down and gave me different scenarios. And he said, first and foremost, we have to make sure we get out the infection. Now, the virus could clear itself up on its own because it's viral, or this antibiotic could help it, or it can make it worse. Y'all say, Patrice, why did you explain all this to us in this podcast this week? And why are you saying to see or not to see? Y'all, I have been going through people's taxes for years, and this tax season is, like I told y'all, is a lot rougher than most. And a lot of people who started businesses, a lot of people who jumped into the stock market, a lot of people who are doing things without understanding the foundational principles. They see where they want to go. They see the direction that they want to head into. They know they want to make money. They know they want to help people. They know they want to live off of this. They know they don't want a whole bunch of control. They want more freedom, right? However, when I go and look at the financial foundation, y'all hear me? When I say you look at the financial foundation, I'm talking to people and people don't understand critical pieces of business ownership. Critical pieces. You know what your idea is, you know how to flow, you know some processes and procedures, you know operations. But behind the scenes, there are other things that make stuff work, right? Taxes and accounting are critical to that, right? Because you got to report out on it. And everybody, a majority of people are telling, they want to write off everything. I get it. That's a great marketing phrase because that's really what it is. You want to write off everything and you don't want nobody to come after you, right? So I focus on things, not necessarily from the let's write off everything stance. I focus from let's audit proof your position, your life, and your business from the jump. Because everything we can do to audit proof it, when notices come, when information comes, when stuff happens or somebody asks a question, we are prepared for it. If you, what they say, if you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. That's my thought process. Because I got a mindset of an auditor. I audited for 21 years, not at the IRS, but the principles are the same. We got to know the criteria. I'm trying to tell y'all, really, this is how it works. We got to know the criteria. We have to assess the criteria against that particular situation. We have to evaluate it. We have to run certain tests to make sure everything is the way it's supposed to. If it look crazy pants, I'm telling you, we digging deeper, because if it looks suspicious, there's something going on. If it looks okay when we start testing, we'll limit our tests. We won't dig as deep, right? If we ask you for the support and you can say, yeah, this is how I got this is how I split this makes sense. I'm gonna tell you, all right? People will try to tell you from audit, we always taught, we here to help, right? Trust but verify. I don't think people are out here trying to do stuff dirty. I really just don't. If nothing else, what I've learned in the last 2 years that I've been doing this full time, people are doing stuff out of ignorance. And not ignorance of their own doing, ignorance because it's very easy to start a business. If you have a good product or service and people want it, they'll pay for it and you'll start to get money. But the infrastructure, if you don't think about the infrastructure before you get out there too far, or it blows up because you got something hot, that's what gets you in trouble. Anybody can be an LLC. It don't take much. You either can go pay somebody to establish the LLC for you, or you can go do it yourself at your state. And depending on what state it is, it don't take nothing. All right? Less than $200, depending on where you are. Okay? But there's so much more to it. It's about knowing what that LLC is doing. Should you have an LLC? All these other things that I'm not going to discuss on this podcast today, but we'll dive into it. Really, it's to see or not to see where you currently are, to see if you need this elaborate infrastructure now, or can you put it in place later? And this is why I tell people, I need y'all to start with basic spreadsheets before you go get elaborate accounting systems. Why? Because when you starting off your business, and even like for 90 days, just look at it, right? Because it's going to determine whether or not your business is truly a business flowing into a business or a hobby, right? 90 days, the way businesses work, money comes in, stuff goes out. Money comes in, business expenses go out. Money comes in, business expenses go out. What you're left over at the end of the month determines whether or not the business was profitable or it's running at a deficit. That's it, right? We do have other financial statements you have to pay attention to, but I want people to understand that your accounting or your tax statement, your tax return is first and foremost based off of the money that came in, whether or not, and I'm talking about revenue, true revenue, not money that you contributed to the company. I'm talking about money that you got for selling your product or service. That money comes in, business expenses, you deduct it out. Things to help you operate the business, not you balling out because it will be cute. Things to help you operate the business. Ordinary and necessary business expenses is what the IRS calls it. right? A spreadsheet. You need to know how your money flows. Because what happens is if you do it on a spreadsheet before you ever get into any robust accounting system, or if your transactions pick up, then you need to get into something like that, is you'll start to understand what quarter, that's why I say 90 days, what quarters your activities work. Because some of us are, I use, because I primarily do taxes. I do some bookkeeping and accounting, but I primarily do taxes. We got seasons. I got ebbs and flows. I do taxes all year because I'm an enrolled agent. So I help people solve tax problems, etc. But during busy season, you'll have an influx. That's January to April. I'll have an influx, right, of activity. And then September to October, I have another influx because that's the extension season, right? So people start coming real heavy, like, because I'm also advertising. So I'll get a lot of inflow. That's what I'm saying. A lot of inflow. Some are returning clients, some are not, some are brand new. You've never met me before, you coming through. That's, you know what I'm saying? But then I have sustainable flow because I do have accounting and bookkeeping clients that we work together throughout the year to make sure that we have this stuff right to flow so that when we do the tax return next year, everything is good to go. Now I got some clients, we can do it like a sonic, like clockwork. If they tell me everything throughout the year, right? Like, hey, I set up a business in multi-state, like whatever, right? You got to tell me stuff. If you don't, it makes it a little bit more intricate. I have some people who are running their stuff. They know exactly, Patrice, here's my stuff. You type, I look at it real quick, boom, we good to go. But if you didn't stay plugged in to the system, you didn't ask questions throughout the year, that'll knock you out. And I'm telling you, I got some people who do it, who just leave it for happenstance. They're not touching it. They want me to touch it when it's time to do tax time. And I'm like, we're not doing that. You said you was gonna monitor it throughout the year. You said you was gonna stay on top of it. You said you was gonna look at your inflows and outflows. You said if you bought a piece of equipment, you was gonna put it on the balance sheet, right? Because we got to determine whether or not we depreciating in the first year. If we're doing bonus depreciation, y'all, I'm not gonna go deep, right? So now we're talking about inflows and outflows. You got to know how that stuff works. But then we have these things where people are like, oh, I put money into the business to help the business flow because it's the first year, or stuff was off because my advertising. That's a totally different conversation. Those are contributions to the business to help it flow. That's an investment, an owner's investment into the business. And that does not go on that's not income. The money that you put into the business to help it operate when stuff is sticky, or if you go get a SBA loan of any sort or a grant, or right, that's not necessarily revenue, right? We got to account for that different. And so there's a whole different set of financial statements where it gets caught up on. The reason why I'm breaking this down is because I'm taking the time to start to teach people when I say see or not to see. I have clients now that we're working with, but you can't just go swipe cards. You can't just have 50 billion accounts, especially depending on your entity, your business entity. If you're an S corporation and you're doing personal and business and you not account for it, you are in the field of possibly piercing your corporate veil. Okay, which could be serious if ever looked at. They could take away your status and be like, you say you operate this way, but you're doing something totally different, right? So writing off everything, we want to write off as much as we legally can. I need us to change the language. We want to be able to deduct, right, our revenue by whatever we legally can that helps us operate the business. And yes, when you have your logo on your clothes and that's your outfit, that's your uniform, yes, there's things that you like every day that you're not thinking about. Making sure you have a business line, making sure you have business internet, like those things that the business is paying for, knowing how to buy a vehicle in your business name, determining and monitoring mileage. I need y'all to see it before you see it, right? And if you're not sure, before you go and make the purchase, I need you to talk to somebody about how to make the purchase. What do we need to do to make the purchase so that we're not cleaning it up on the back end and trying to fix it during tax season? When we got 12 months that we working through that we can fix it. Now stuff is slowed down. Now's the time to go and say, you know what, I'm not sure if I'm doing this right. I want to make sure I am, but I don't know who to ask. Find you somebody you can trust that will sit there and do a consult with you, and stop thinking it needs to be for free. Have somebody look at your books or your spreadsheet, or tell them how you operate. Sometimes we've actually had somebody come through and say something is not right, and I need a business evaluation to figure out what's going on. Now that's a whole different scenario. I know somebody who could do it too, and go through and help you figure out not just the numbers, but looking at the processes and procedures and helping you really evaluate your business. This is the interesting thing about being an auditor in my past life. I've done it from financial statement audits, right? Where we start with the numbers and we dig back to see where stuff is breaking down. And I've done performance audits where I start with processes and procedures, look at the criteria, processes and procedures, and back myself into stuff. That's how you get cost savings, right? So really, that's the attacks we use in the government, right? Either way, I'm gonna get to a money trail, right? Because people care about numbers. Numbers, when you speak numbers and volumes, that gets people's attention. I can either start with a financial statement and back myself into where stuff is breaking down, which is the IRS does. They start with your tax return and they start digging. This looks off. This looks like you might be doing something according to what the rules and regulations are. So they start with the numbers and they dig it back. Or we can evaluate processes and procedures, how you're operating, what's going on. We learn and understand how your company runs. And all right, let's go through and let's look at what's working, what's not working. And sometimes that backs us into, oh, there's some cost savings here that could be given. That's really more like the tax planning side of the house, right? Which we offer both. That's more like the tax planning side of the house. What do you want to do? Now I'm gonna start with your tax return, but I really want to know what you put in place. What are we thinking about? How we came up with some strategies that you weren't aware of to get us to the point where we actually save you some money in the upcoming tax years based off of what the laws say, okay? I will tell y'all, me trying to tighten up my vision has given me so much insight. That's why I say to see or not to see. Me being down and out has changed my outlook on how I will be operating from here on out and how I can serve people. Because for me, this is about service. Yes, I got people working for me. Yes, we got to get paid. Yes, stuff got to be paid because I got expenses. The business got expensive. Even though it's low overhead, it still got expenses. But I really am here to serve and educate because I see the need. I see a lot of business owners who are out here making good money, making it work, but they're frustrated because they don't know how to read financial statements and they don't know how it translates over to their tax return, and they don't know how to find tax savings. I really am coming from a heart of servitude. I want you to see what I can see. That's why I spend time with your data without talking to you first, right? Now, I do a lot of video prep and stuff, and I'm not saying I don't ever talk to people, but we've changed how anybody who's working with me see. I don't immediately have to see you. I want to see your data so I can come through and say, all right, and then we'll break it down. Some people may schedule an appointment when we way down the road after everything is done. In fact, a lot of times I do prefer it that way. If you're an existing client, some people just want to know my process and procedures. And so that's why I recorded some videos so people will get to know me before they actually engage with me. Because once we're in it, I can save you. Once I can see it. Telling me hypothetically, this is all I got, doesn't mean anything until I actually see it. Because you tell me one thing and I look and I say, but you told me this, because I write notes. Am I remarkable? And I look and I say, but you said this, but I don't have this. What's going on here? And then we record it. I record a return, me reviewing a tax return, so you understand how everything flows. I keep telling y'all, taxes are addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. Addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. That was my alarm to tell me get up. It's really about knowing how it works. Me having the pain in my eye, probably at the time I was devastated. Because I told you, I was like, am I going to be able to see? But it happening at the time it happened probably is one of the best things that ever happened to me. For me to take the time and actually do some evaluation, not only for my clients, but for my own business, to see how I really want to come out here and serve, where I fit in, how I can love when you are. I really am working on something to really show you how to audit-proof your life and audit-proof your businesses. And when the situation comes, how we can work together to fix it ahead of time. I want to show you how you can be in control way before anything happens, how you can plan what that refund or tax bill is going to look like. In some cases, people are like, tax bill, yeah. Some people want them, but we don't want them to be astronomical, right? How to take that jump, when to sell, and what that sale of that stock or that asset gonna do, and what it's gonna look for you tax-wise. People are talking, I'm retiring. What does my life look like? I don't want to be paying tons of taxes in retirement. How do I make that work? All of those things deal with sight. Come on, Jesus. They deal with sight, foresight. The time to pause and say, what I'm looking at now is not what it's going to look like a year from now. How do I make it look the way I want it to look a year from now? You got to be able to see it. Or you cannot, and it can feel like it's happening to you. I just want you to take the time to determine for yourself, can you see or can you not see? And if you can't see, I would gladly love to do a discovery call with you. You could always reach out on my website, Total Tax Experience. We are working on the Tax Cop website, so you'll be able to schedule appointments there as well. And we got discovery calls. We want to have a conversation about what your situation is when it comes to accounting and tax. You can always reach out via email, Patrice@totaltaxexperience.com. And we'll find a way to have a meeting that works for what your needs are. Now I'm gonna tell y'all this. I'm a stickler for providing me as much information as possible, because I don't want to cheat you and shorten your time for no reason. I really want to know what's going on. So that's why I said we got some other things that we were working on. This is my intake process. I want to know as much as possible. So I'm going to make some adjustments to the intake process over the next couple of months, so that when people are coming, I'm not wasting your time and you're not wasting mine, right? I want to serve. And as we grow this team, I want my team to be able to serve you in the best light possible, in the best way possible, in the most detailed way possible. Me and a couple of other of my good friends are collaborating on something big for you all. Really, because our heart is to serve in this space. And we really want to pour into you all, love on you all, want you to succeed. The truth of the matter is, if you succeed, then we succeed. And it ain't about money. It's about how we can make connections with people. You missing this one piece. I got a client that can help you. Let me see if I can make a virtual introduction. Anybody who knows me knows I do these things, because I can see you being the very best that you want to be. Let's map it out. Let's take our time. Let's reevaluate every 90 days. I try to do it on a 30-day basis, but I really do get a chance to dig deep every 90 days. Because it gives me a longer range, right? So every month I'll like, hey, what worked, what didn't? And over a 90-day period, I can see where we're on point to do what I said I wanted to do, right? So that's what I got for y'all. Y'all heard the story. Y'all see what my concern is. Hopefully you hear my heart for you. Truly. I want you to succeed like ain't nobody else's business. But I want you to see it. I want you to have a good foundation. I want you to know how to maneuver. I don't want y'all out here writing off everything, thinking you can write off everything, and then find yourself in a sticky situation with the IRS that you can't get out of. Some stuff just ain't meant to be written off. Okay? Because some stuff ain't ordinary and necessary to your business. Some stuff is personal in nature. And every, people are, I don't want to pay no taxes. Well, if you got a bottom line, if you got a profit, I don't know nobody who's not having some sort of profit or gain that is not paying any taxes. So you hear these gurus out here, they're paying some sort of tax. It just might not be as much as you paying because they have used the tax code to their benefit. But if it's a positive number, baby, you're paying tax on it. Either, right? You're paying tax somehow, some way throughout the year. It's either being withheld, you either pay estimated taxes. Now, there's some heavy investors, they getting credits that are offsetting their tax bill. So it's not saying they don't have a positive number, but there are a lot of like oil credits and all these other things. That's why they're getting away with not paying taxes. Those credits are offsetting that bill, the tax that's due. But if it's positive, I promise you, you paying tax. Okay, so let's get out of this mindset that I'm not paying no tax. If I do, I want to minimize it legally. We're not avoiding tax, right? It exists. We're minimizing it legally, which then now opens our mind to, okay, well, what other things can I invest in, right, up front to get the opportunity to get some of these credits that exist on the back end. All right, that's all I have for y'all this week. Thank you for listening to me. Y'all pray for us, Sister I. She go to the eye doctor later on this week. Y'all pray that my vision get tight or I find me a really cute pair of glasses and that it come up from 20. I'm trying to tell y'all 2 weeks ago I had a 20/60 eyesight. I don't know the last time I checked it, but stuff was nowhere near as blurry as it was. I want you to have clear vision in your business, in your life, and where you're moving forward. I want you to be able to exhale. And I don't want nobody to ever have the type of pain I had. Oh, that joint hurt like I don't know what. Until next week, this has been Talks with the Tax Cop. Y'all have a wonderful, beautiful week, and I'll holler at y'all. Peace.